All right, so let's talk about Leaving Neverland. Oh God, I have a lot of.
First of all, Akil didn't watch it
last time.
Last time talking about, he was like, I only watched half of the first one, but it looked good. I'm like, bro, you didn't even watch. He's had all these questions, and I'm like, bro, they get answered in the second part. Like, so yeah, go ahead.
A lot of things. So a lot of new thoughts about it.
So what has changed for you now that you've seen both parts? And did you see after?
Yes, I did. Okay. I did. So well, let's talk about that first, right? The after Neverland thing. Okay. The one thing that really stood out to me was, because my question, same thing as Oprah's question, was, why did you wait until now to tell us about all of this?
Yes.
And you know what it was? It was because both of them, Jimmy and Wade, had a child, and when their kids got to the same age that they were when they got abused, they were like, yo, this is insane. Like, my kid is so innocent. Yep. PTSD, and my kid is so innocent, and like, you could tell how easily kids are manipulated.
Yep.
And
how pure they are,
how pure they are, how naive they are, you know, and Michael was running around and just, you know, telling, because what are some of the things that Michael was doing? He was telling them like, oh, I love you, you love me, we're supposed to be together. He freaking got married to James. They had like a fake wedding thing, which is really weird.
And he kept the jewelry too, bro. That's what's
And he kept the jewelry, which lets you know that they were really in love.
Like invested.
Yeah, so when I was watching it the first time with Jimmy, I was like, yo, what is up with Jimmy constantly saying like, oh, I loved him. I thought he meant in the sense that like, oh, like, you know, like we all do, we love Michael Jackson, right? But no, he really meant like, I really loved him. Like, we were in a full-blown relationship for
feelings for Michael.
Wade was in like a relationship with Michael for 7 years, from age 7 to 14, which is unbelievable.
Boy booty holes.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Oh my God. Oh, here's some things that I was reading. You're the one that told me about this. The vitiligo patch on Michael's penis.
Right.
Okay, tell the people about that, please. That's so creepy.
So the original conversation that we had was whether or not, you didn't know whether or not it was true allegations or if they kind of made it up.
Right, and this specific one you're about to tell was from 1993.
Right.
It was from Jordan Chandler.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And so what the article I read was the 10 reasons why Michael Jackson could be possibly guilty. They weren't like saying he is guilty,
I'll pull them up while you talk.
10 possible reasons why he could be guilty.
Yep.
And a lot of them were, you know, hearsay. You know, a lot of them were circumstantial and coincidental. Like, for instance, you know, with most of the allegations, he happened to pay off the family so that they didn't, you know, bring further litigation to further court litigation to Michael and his attorneys. But the most damning for me was when they asked, I believe it was Jordan Chandler, who was the son of one of Michael's housekeepers that he got familiar with. They asked him to draw a picture of markings of Michael's underside of his penis because he had a specific like birthmark or mark because of the vitiligo.
Yep.
But they didn't look at it immediately. They sealed it into an envelope. So it was
probably
untampered,
like later evidence.
And then they were going to admit it into evidence when, you know, there was trials. And come to find out, when they did admit the evidence, it actually matched Michael Jackson's mark.
Same exact spot, same marking, the shape and everything, which is really creepy.
I remember as a kid, Michael Jackson had that video that he released through ABC where he was like in the red shirt and he was like, I did not do anything with these allegations, blah, 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 and blah, blah. And he's like, they took pictures of me and of my naked body, of my private parts. But with those pictures of the private parts, what it did was it allowed them to match what the kid drew. And then a year or two later, when they actually went to court case and they had the pictures, it allowed that to be confirmed that, okay, this kid saw the underside of Michael Jackson's penis. So clearly Michael was doing something with that kid that obviously was inappropriate. So that was like, to me, that was like, for a while, I thought, like, you know, all the allegations throughout my life when I heard about it, I was like, I don't know, maybe. I thought, if anything, Michael was, like, gay.
But it's because we love Michael so much. It's funny because when I was watching Leaving Neverland, I had a friend come over, and he was immediately like, turn this bullshit off. Like, Michael's dead. He can't defend himself. Like, we love Michael. We don't believe this bullshit. How are these guys? They're obviously going for money and stuff. But if you really think about it, right, just two things. One, this is for everybody watching, right? If it wasn't Michael Jackson, just another male person.
Playing with the booty holes.
Just another male, 35 to 40 years old.
Right, true.
And he was sleeping with little boys starting at age 7
to
for
like 14.
For months at a time. Like, he was telling the parents, like, hey, I want Wade to come live with me for a year. And he was telling them, like, oh, don't worry about school, da-da-da. Because he was buying them shit, right?
Right.
And anytime, you know, he would call Wade's family. He would call Wade's family, Jimmy's family, all of these families. And, because anytime he was going through any sort of court case, he would call them up and say, hey, can you defend for me? You know, can you do the trial and defense for me?
Right.
And anytime they were at all kind of like, I don't know, he would immediately just buy them a house. Like, he brought Wade's family from Australia over to America.
Oh, and also in the article, they say that he also bought cars for the families. Yep. Like, he lent them money that they didn't, it wasn't even a loan, it was like a grant. Like, he gave them money.
He paid $25 million to pay these families for them to defend him. He paid like $10 million to like Jordan Chandler. He paid $2.5 million to Wade and Jimmy equally, and that's unbelievable.
Michael Jackson touch your booty hole if you was gonna get $25 million? And I say that because
you made me think about it.
It's like, think about, like,
you know what, bro?
Spread my butt cheeks
for you,
Michael.
Bro?
Come on, Michael.
I mean,
look at that booty hole. You got 5 minutes.
It's funny because like Wade got an entire career out of it.
It's
like,
true.
he was huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I went to the Apple store trying to fix this video shit, the girl was like, yo, like, you know, when I was young, like, Wade was it. Like, he was the biggest choreographer for, you know, Britney Spears, for NSYNC, and all these different, and Justin Timberlake, exactly.
Right.
So it's like, you know, he secured the bag, he got a career out of it,
right.
But then the trauma came after, and it's like, was it really worth it, right?
Was it worth it? I mean, you know, and they talked about that, especially with Jimmy and with Wade, that, like, you know, it became a point where they were working and supposedly getting those dream jobs and opportunities, but they couldn't enjoy it because of just the trauma of just all the stuff started surfacing, and it started to affect their personal lives. I remember Wade, he had a TV show on MTV. It was a reality TV show called The Wade Robinson Project. And basically, it was just like dancers competing to kind of, like, you know, work with Wade when he goes on tour with NSYNC or Britney Spears or Janet Jackson or whoever he was, you know, choreographing for at the time. So I remember him being, you know, a big deal, but I didn't realize that he was the kid that Michael Jackson had abused until my sister actually had mentioned it. And she was like, yo, that's the dude that, you know, apparently Britney slept with, that ended up breaking up her and Justin, which Cry Me a River, remember that song, Cry Me a River? That was...
That's about Wade?
That's not about Wade, but it was about him and Britney.
Okay.
And, you know, and then the guy that came in between them that ultimately led to their, you know, the falling out. Because they had a fairly decent relationship until, I guess, Britney
just, you know,
that. Yeah, so my sister told me about this because my sister's been hella into pop music. She's into NSYNC, all the boy bands, all the girl bands. So she knew a lot of the interpersonal relationships between these individuals. But I didn't realize that he was the same dude from, you know, the 2000s. That was, like you said, he was killing it at the time.
I mean, look, I want to say this, like, I want to put the disclaimer out that I love Michael Jackson just like anybody else, right? I mean, like, I love Michael Jackson. My family loves Michael Jackson. If I were to go to my mom right now or my grandma, oh my God forbid I went to my grandma and I was like, hey, grandma, Michael Jackson touched a little boy, she would slap the shit out of me. You know what I mean? They love him that much, and so does the entire world. I mean, if you, like, when you were watching the documentary, right, or even after Neverland, when all these people were like rioting and they were fighting people and damn near about to kill people because they were defending Michael that much, right? But really, like, think about that. Like, it doesn't have to be Michael. Any other guy, right? People are watching the Netflix special, or was it Hulu, Abducted in Plain Sight, right?
It's on Netflix.
That guy's 40 years old.
I didn't see that.
He was sleeping with the mom. He was sleeping with the dad to get to the daughter.
Wait, what? He was sleeping with the mom and dad?
He was sleeping with the mom and the dad to get to the daughter, and he took the daughter away for like a lot. He took the daughter away 3 times, but he groomed her and made her think like she was in love with him. So when he took her away, it wasn't even like, you know, took her away by.
She didn't feel abducted.
She didn't feel abducted. She wanted to do it herself.
What is that called? The Stockholm Syndrome, when you start to develop a relationship with a kidnapper.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what Michael was doing, right? And I say this to say, like, I love Michael, but I'm kind of having an open mind, right? I'm looking at these allegations, which I want to go through right now. I was looking at these allegations against Michael, and I was also looking at the other side of, you know, what if Michael was innocent and stuff like that. I was looking at both sides, and honestly, let's just, you know what? How about this? Let's just put that up, first of all. Michael is such a handsome cat.
Such a handsome man. He's such a handsome man.
Look at that. You can't hate this man. Which is why it's so hard to be against Michael Jackson.
That tiger's booty hole too. Who knows?
But if you really think about it, even in the documentary, he says he's like, well, I mean, the people are saying like the cost of Michael paying $25 million, $30 million, it doesn't outweigh. It would never be.
Pain.
Yeah, for him to lose his career.
Right.
That's a bigger cost, right? So he was doing anything and if it cost him $100 million, he would have done it because it would have still saved his career.
Yeah.
All right, let's go through these allegations. I mean, look.
Put this shit down. Let's put this thing up. Let's put this up.
Yo, this one's really cool. Look at this. This one's. I love the things I have.
That is
super
dope.
Cool.
He's on a trampoline.
Cool. Control got it too, but Control's up there. You guys can't see it. All right, let's go through these allegations, please. All right, so if you guys can see it, hopefully you guys can see it. All right, so let's go through the first one. It says, there's no dispute that at age 34, Michael Jackson slept more than 30 nights in a row in the same bed with 13-year-old Jordie Chandler at the boys' house with Chandler's mother present. Oh, that's another thing. At the Leaving Neverland, guess who got the most heat out of anybody in that whole thing?
Who?
The mom. The moms. The Wade's mom. You know how Wade and he was like, I lost emotions for her.
Yo, Wade's mom was kind of wild because it seemed like, you know, it seemed like she was chasing the fame to the point where she moved her son or her daughter to Los Angeles.
She got the house by Michael.
She left. She left her husband and her oldest son. And her husband at the time needed her because he was developing some mental illnesses. And
isn't that also messed up that, was it both of the Wade's and Jimmy's parents, dads committed suicide or something?
No, Jimmy's dad didn't commit suicide.
But Wade's dad did.
It was just Wade's dad. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, but he was dealing with bipolar disorder, which if you don't know, it's it's serious.
It's a serious thing. Absolutely.
So I think that that's very interesting, and I feel that I'm not a mother, I'm not a parent, so I can't speak for parents, but just the idea of what I know from the parents around me, they would feel horrible about something like this happening.
Absolutely. But it's unbelievable that Wade's mom was like okay with that. Like she was okay with Michael sleeping. Like when they would go to hotel rooms, she would be like just doors.
No,
like,
that was Jimmy's. That was Jimmy's.
That's still messed up.
But but Wade's mom would be like in the living room on the couch, and Wade will be in the bedroom with Michael. Like no parent should allow any grown man that is not their father.
Yeah, I think that's unbelievable.
To be with their child.
I think that's unbelievable.
But I think that that's bad judgment. It's hard, obviously hindsight is 20/20, and us looking back and knowing the allegations, easily we can say, oh, it's crazy. But like when you think about the idea of Michael Jackson, Thriller, like in the 90s, like this dude, in the 80s, this dude was like a god. And so in the 90s, he had already secured the bag.
Literally.
So like you're not really thinking that this man is going to do something horrible because he comes off as like, he's not like freaking Charles Manson or anything like that. He's like, he's an icon. So I kind of, people get starstruck sometimes. I try not to get starstruck when I see celebrities, but I can see how that's a possibility and how it's a phenomenon. Yeah. And sometimes when you're starstruck, it kind of, kills your judgment. So let's go on.
Let's go through this. All right. So that's already a red flag. He also slept in the same bed with Jordie Chandler at Chandler's father's house. The parents were divorced. That's unbelievable. That's crazy. All right. So far, there's 5 boys Michael Jackson shared beds with. Have accused him of abuse. Jordan Chandler, Jason Francia, Gavin Arvizo, Wade Robson, and Jimmy Safechuck. Obviously, Wade and Jimmy were the ones that were in the documentary. Jackson had the same nickname for Chandler and Arvizo, Rubba, and he called Robson Little One and Safechuck Applehead. Obviously, if you watch the documentary, like when he was doing the faxes and he was calling them, he was like, "Hey, Applehead," right? And he was having 6-hour phone calls with them and stuff.
Hey, big head, what you doing?
This is the one that you said. He suffered from the skin discoloration disease vitiligo. Jordan Chandler drew a picture of the markings on the underside of Jackson's penis. His drawings were sealed in an envelope. A few months later, investigators photographed Jackson's genitalia. The photographs matched Chandler's drawings.
That was to me was the most.
It gets weirder. These two are the weirdest ones. The hallway leading to Jackson's bedroom. By the way, there was like 6 doors before you get to Jackson's bedroom. was a serious security zone covered by video and wired for sound, so that the steps of anybody approaching would make ding dong noises.
No, he had the setup. You think we got a setup? Jackson had the real setup.
That's already a red flag. The biggest red flag was this one. Jackson had an extensive collection of adult erotic material he kept in a suitcase next to his bed, including S&M bondage photos and a study of naked boys. Forensic experts with experience in the Secret Service found the fingerprints of boys alongside Jackson's on the same pages. Jackson also had bondage sculptures of women with ball gags in their mouths on his desk, in full view of the boys to see them when they were in his bedroom. That's unbelievable.
One of the things that, you're, as just as a psychologically sound individual is supposed to do when it comes to young people is you're not supposed to expose them to anything beyond their means of comprehension.
Yeah.
And, whether they're 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever the age, doesn't matter how grown they seem, you're not supposed to expose them to pornographic material.
Yep.
Or statues that represent something in that in a very very,
I guess, erotic way.
Way.
But it's like, yo, as a 7-year-old though, like, I mean, I was second grade. Like, what the F was porn in the first place? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I think I discovered porn maybe like 5th or 6th grade. I was looking at pictures and shit.
I saw my dad's nudie mags when I had to have been like in 2nd, 3rd grade.
Yeah.
I think I was snooping in his room and I went through a drawer and I saw these hustlers and I was like, ow.
Yeah.
Ow, what's this happening on my pants?
But like at the age of 7, like how the F do you even know what that is? You know what I mean? Like how do you comprehend?
You know, because I think it's a biological primal connection that you know what this is. But at the same time, you don't know what to do with it, or you don't know how it emotionally impacts you. You know what I mean? Like,
can you even get hard at the age of 7?
Yeah, of course.
Really?
Yeah. Blood is in the freaking veins of your penis.
Yeah.
That's it. All you have to have is enough to go there, and there you go. But
that's unbelievable.
I think that this opened a lot of people's eyes to just the reality of a lot of things, especially with the Me Too movement happening for the past year and a half. And it's something that just had to come to light, whether it's R. Kelly, whether it's Bill Cosby, whether it's Michael Jackson, Harvey Weinstein. And it's just, I think for them, for Wade and for James, I think that this is cathartic because it allows them to find peace in something that has tormented them for so long, and it gives them an avenue to kind of close the chapter. Like at the end of Finding Neverland, what you saw, like James like burning all of his Michael Jackson memorabilia that he had, like that in itself, and that process of just torching something from someone that has, you thought, when you're younger was showcasing love, but as you got older you realize was manipulating and grooming and tormenting you. I think that ability to kind of let go and burn, literally burn it, as opposed to, whatever the case may be, to kind of help you get over it. I think that was powerful. And that's why I remember the last time we talked about it, you were like, yo, do you think Wade, because Wade seemed definitely more chill than James. James is written on his face.
Oh, James looked like he was going through it for years. He
looked like he was just
my God, he looked like he was crying every day for his life.
Exactly. And he was such a sweet guy too, which makes it even worse. He seemed very genuine.
Yeah, seriously.
And Wade, it seemed like Wade wasn't that impacted by it, but I also think that Wade is different, obviously, than James. And they had different experiences.
I mean,
like James,
it could be Wade could just be a little bit stronger, and
I don't even think it's about strength. I think it's just their perception of the relationship. Like James legit got married to Michael, bro.
Yeah.
Like Wade didn't do that. Like he was deep into it, and to kind of like be deep into something and then come out and then realize what it is. Like that can be traumatizing on so many levels.
No, but when did he realize? But he realized it was abuse when he saw his kid, right?
Right.
So that entire period, he was like convinced that like this was love and everything, until he looked at his kid and he was like, no, this like look how easily I can manipulate my own kid, and how innocent and naive and influence them. Yeah. That's when he was like, okay, whatever, like that's unbelievable, like, and I guess it all hit him in the face.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what other stuff we could dig up in here. Okay, let's see. Oh, according to the Neverland staff interviewed by the Santa Barbara authorities, no one ever saw or knew of a woman spending the night with Michael Jackson, including his two spouses, Debbie Rowe or Lisa Marie Presley. Oh, that's you said that's
Elvis's
daughter.
Yeah.
Rowe, the mother of two of Jackson's children, made it clear to the Santa Barbara authorities that she never had sex with Jackson. And I remember I was watching an old interview in like 1990s of Oprah. With Michael, and she was like, "Are you a virgin?" And he was like, "I'm embarrassed to say," and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a virgin." I'm like, "But you damn near like 35 years old. How the hell are you a virgin?"
40-year-old virgin.
Yeah, literally.
If you don't use it, do you lose it? Is that a real question?
Oh, whoa. Two of the fathers of those who have accused Jackson, Jordan Chandler and Wade Robson, committed suicide. Both were estranged from their sons at the time.
But look at the bottom.
Correction, due to an editing error in an early version. Okay, misidentified the father of one of Jackson's accuser. Right, he had committed suicide. Not safe. Okay, we regret the error. That's the error that they gave? I thought you were going to say that they had bipolar. That's the reason why he killed himself.
Well, that was Wade Robinson's father. Wade Robinson's father was the one that did commit suicide.
Yeah.
He committed suicide after his oldest son left to take... He was taking a holiday back over in L.A. with the rest of Wade and the family in the States. And after that, the father... spoiler alert, the father killed himself.
Yeah.
But like it's just crazy. It's the trauma of that is really really impactful. And I can only speak from that because I am a survivor of sexual abuse. And what I can tell you is that you don't realize that it impacts you. Like you have these quirks in your behavior, but you don't understand what it is until you essentially meet people that reflect normalcy or an idea or a perception of normalcy. And you start to question why you're not normal. And then for me, as an individual that reflects often, thanks to marijuana at the time, I was able to kind of like dig back, and I was able to open up to the people around me and let them know like, yo, I had this happen to me and I need to seek help because I feel like if I do not, it's going to further torment me and lead me down this path of darkness. And I just wasn't for that. So when I was watching it, like my girlfriend came to me, she's like, we should watch this. This is going to be very important for us.
Leaving Neverland, you mean?
Yeah, I don't want this bullshit. And Michael Jackson ain't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it, and the whole time I'm making jokes, yo. I'm making jokes because that was my way of dealing with it.
Coping
because
with it.
It was a lot. This is an easy subject, which why there's a lot of reaction on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever the case may be, especially from the Jackson estate. And then also from, the family of Robeson and Safechuck.
Yeah.
But I understood that it was part of their process, just like everybody has a process. Everybody has trauma that they've gone through, whether it's major trauma or micro trauma.
Yeah.
But it's your duty to hopefully recognize it and then deal with it accordingly so that you can be a better individual down the line.
No, you already have water.
Actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
here's another thing that I wanted to mention. I mean, with the... So a lot of people don't believe, right? They obviously don't want to believe the accusers and say like they're doing it for money and stuff like that. What I thought about to help myself really like kind of understand that they were telling the truth was that if you're just an average person, this did happen to you, right? And this is Michael Jackson we're talking about, right? Wouldn't you take way more heat for saying that Michael touched you from the general public? They were getting death threats. So that's why...
Crazy.
But what I'm saying is like, I kind of... It really helped me understand that they, or believe that they were telling the truth because I don't think anybody would want to come out against Michael and Michael's stans. Because I feel like Michael has more stans than he does fans. I think all of his fans are stans. You know what I mean?
I hear
so knowing that they're going to go and attract that much attention and get that much heat, I think it would be best for them to just keep quiet. But they came out instead and like, honestly, like I don't think that would ever make up for the money that you're getting from accusing him and making the money from the documentary, whatever it may be, or making money from doing court cases and going against him and stuff, because that hate and having a tarnished kind of just life afterwards is way more than making some money and winning a fucking court case, in my opinion. And
then also, why would you participate in a documentary that's going to be shown at an international film festival, Sundance, and then going to be shown on a bigger platform than like Netflix, And
HBO,
then
HBO, right?
I'm sorry, HBO.
And I trust.
Then you get interviewed by Oprah in front of like a crowd of hundreds of people.
At this point, you're
like,
fucked. Like, you're
like
dead.
if you're
As soon as
lying,
you step out, you're dead.
Like
You know what I
Jussie
mean?
Smollett, like
Yeah.
that's Jussie Smollett level of lying. I don't think, like we talked about it before, like. There was something about Wade that made you think that, like, okay, he could have possibly fabricated some portions of the story. Like, there's possibly some portions that are true. There's possibly some portions that are not true. But then when I saw him after Leaving Neverland, or what is it called, After Neverland?
After Neverland.
And he was talking, I could hear the nervousness in his voice. It was kind of shaky, and like you could almost see like his hands shaking a little bit. So I knew that if he was that nervous to talk about it in front of hundreds of people, I can only imagine how nervous he was to even make the documentary that he knew would be seen by thousands, if not millions of people at some point in time, and then translated into so many different languages. So I feel for them, and I'm happy that they're able to do their best in trying to heal from this in whatever way they seem, whatever way seems fit.
Yeah.
But like, if you think about it, these are the cases that we know about, bro. What about the ones we haven't heard about?
Oh yeah, we'll get into that.
You feel me? Like, what about the joints from like when did Michael lose his young boy virginity, bro? When did he first touch a booty hole and realize that he liked little boy booty holes?
Yeah.
Like, that's the crazy part about it. And then I don't know if it's I think it's a learned behavior too. So I think that maybe Michael Jackson was abused. We know he was abused physically by his father, Joe Jackson, piece of shit.
Didn't we talk about this though?
Right.
Like in the last video, we also talked about that he was sexually abused too, right?
He might have been sexually abused because of just like he was a young kid in the adult industry, and young children, I'm sorry, in the adult industry, in the entertainment.
Yeah,
that would have been real bad. He was a young kid in the entertainment industry, and unfortunately, there's so many stories of young kids in the entertainment industry that have gone through some sort of abuse, whether it's sexual, emotional, mental. You hear about like the teen pageant girls, and you hear about like child actors like Macaulay Culkin and Corey Haim, which was the Coreys from the 80s. They were in a bunch of movies in the 80s and 90s. One of them killed himself because he just couldn't cope with the idea of him going through all this stuff, and he admitted to being sexually abused in the industry. And he, as he got older, when he was no longer, making that money as a child actor, he wasn't cute anymore. He's an ugly man, because we all grow up to be ugly men and not cute kids sometimes. He, used alcohol and drugs to cope, and he couldn't deal with it, and he killed himself. So there has been stories of this happening and time again. And who's to say that Michael Jackson wasn't a part of that?
Yeah.
Who's to say that the reason why he did this to these young boys is that he learned this from somebody else, or maybe it was just something that was biologically ingrained in him for whatever reason. It's people likened it to fetishes, like freaking your boy. What's your boy's name? Shane Dawson.
Oh yeah. We'll get into that too. That was a weird one. I mean, but really, what you're saying is, or at least what I came to understand is, hurt people.
Yeah.
Right. And I want to get into that, but there's two things I want to show you first, and I'm hoping you didn't see it because it's fucking hilarious. So there's a comedian, Kyle Dunnigan, and he put out this really funny bit. Oh my goodness. Oh God.
Oh, is this what you sent me?
Oh my God.
Well,
all right, let's watch this.
Hold on. Pause. Background music.
Let's see. Hopefully, this will be loud enough for you guys to hear. But I mean, look. Before I even play this, and before I play the next video, we both love Michael Jackson. We're just trying to.
You could hook this up to your.
We could. I mean, it's like I feel like I have to keep saying this disclaimer because people love Michael so much that bro. I feel like people are gonna come after me. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I wish I could. See
all I want to say before anything is that I love Michael. I'm just looking at it with an open mindset and really just watch this, and maybe it might help in a little bit because it's fucking true.
Still sane.
Oh, it's playing off from my laptop. Okay, I think that might be better then. All right.
I'd like to address this horrible HBO documentary about me. It's filled with lies and ignorance. I would never hurt children.
Yo, he's got the deep fake
I love
Michael
sleeping
Jackson.
with little boys, that's all. Just a grown man sleeping with little boys. Of course I fucked them kids. Come on. It's so obvious. I was a good pedophile too, huh? I built a whole amusement park and a candy store. And I said, you kids like candy? Be like, yeah, we like it. I'm like, yeah, you like it, yeah. Well, tell your mom to get the fuck out of here. Then they did. I was like, oh shit. Didn't y'all notice I only slept with little cute boys, not little girls?
That is so
not little ugly
true.
boys. Just cute little motherfucking tight ass
Oh my God.
boys. Well, better get back to heaven. I got in because I apologized right before I died. Damn the rules. Bye.
The rules.
Okay, so that was really funny. I watched that and I really thought about that and I was like, that is true. I mean, he was only with like good looking, like cute boys. You know what
Blonde
I mean?
hair.
Handsome boys.
Right.
He wasn't with any
Caucasian.
like chubby or fat kids.
I know.
He wasn't with any girl. There was no allegation
Fuck
with
them
little
kids.
girls.
Right.
It was just boys.
He wasn't trying to fuck Wade's sister.
Yeah. It wasn't exactly
He wasn't
right.
trying to fuck
He was-
her.
Yo, when he was talking to the mom and the sister, he was like, "Hey," he would pick up, he would call them, and they'll be like, "Hi, Michael." He'd be like, "Hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'm
Where
just
the fuck
doing
is
good."
Wade
Where
at?
the fuck is Wade at? Yeah, he would just jump right into it.
Where's Wade's booty hole? That's the
Here's
fresh booty hole.
God, here's another good one that I want to show you, especially. All right, let's watch this one. Let's get this one out of the way. I love this TV. All right, let's get this one pulled up. So this is an old. I believe this is with Gavin. That's one of the ones, right? What's his name? Gavin Arvizo. I believe this is
On
with Gavin.
H3A3? He was on H3A3?
No.
Oh,
No, they're
okay.
watching a video. This is an old video.
Okay.
But I took the bit from them, so I want to watch this.
One of his childhood friends. Okay.
Sleep on the bed, sleep on the bed. We're like, no. Yeah, no, you sleep on the bed. And then he finally said, "Okay, if you love me, you sleep on the bed." I was like, oh man.
Okay, first of all,
Bro,
'cause he
first of
wouldn't
all,
say
wait.
that.
First of all, this
He
dude
said-
rocking a Quicksilver fucking t-shirt, bro. Fuck out of here, bro. Fucking
but
Quicksilver,
if
bro.
you hear that, Michael said, "If you
Billabong.
love me, you'll get in the bed." And even he was like, "Oh man," like he was like
Don't say
forced
no
to
to
do
Michael,
this shit.
bro.
You know what I mean? And he points that
You
out.
hear the kid saying, "I didn't want to sleep on the bed." Oh man, Michael Jackson here is shown manipulating this kid and saying, "If you love me," exactly pressuring him. "If you love me, the God
Right.
that you look up to, you'll sleep in my bed."
Yeah.
And this is the beginning of the grooming process.
All right. Here's another
And it
one.
wasn't brown skin Michael. It was white pasty Michael.
And here's another one because he points out all the things that I noticed in the video.
Yeah, but no, yes, we have get Mora.
Parents. Now here at the end, there's a fascinating another detail.
I'll sleep on the bed.
But haven't you got a spare room or a spare house here where he could have stayed?
Yeah, but no, yes, we have guest units, but whenever kids come here, they always want to stay with me.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, look at that face.
First of all, look at him if you guys could even see his face. First of all, he's just sitting there like, one, he's like, "Can I get the fuck out of here?" And two, okay, so he just said, so the interviewer asked him, oh
Look at that
god,
face.
oh my god. So the interviewer asked him, right?
Yo, Michael. Yo.
He's happy as a motherfucker.
Yo, like them little boy
Oh no,
booties.
it gets worse. So the thing is,
gets
so
worse.
so the interviewer asked him, right? The interviewer's like, "Oh, don't you have like spare rooms and spare houses for them to stay at?" And he's like, "Yeah, but no, the kids want to stay with
Yeah,
me."
nah. They
But
wanna
literally like 2 minutes ago, he was like, "If you love me, you'll stay with me." So like he already contradicts himself right there. Oh, here's another one I just want to show you. This is the weirdest part, honestly.
Back at
Oh, I can't with this, bro.
Yeah, most of the time, I was.
That's kind of a lie, right? We can all.
But did they come with you?
Yeah, most of the time,
The parents.
I wasn't really with my parents. I was mainly with Michael.
Most of the time.
But they were happy that you were here.
Yeah.
All right, here's the part that I wanted to show you that was really trippy. All right, look at this. Okay, here it is. Look at this.
Have come and they've stayed in your house.
Look at them holding
They've
hands.
stayed in your
They're holding hands, and he's.
Done, well, very few.
And look how his head is on his
Some
shoulder.
have.
I mean, what the?
And they
That's
say-
not how you act with a friend.
That's how my girlfriend be wanting to be, bro. And I be like, get off me,
Bro,
son.
they're holding hands.
Too close, man.
The
You're
only,
too close.
the only thing they're not doing is like
making out.
interlocking their fingers and making out.
Yo,
Yeah,
their fingers were interlocked, bro.
it was like this.
Oh, was it? Okay. It
But
looked like,
I mean,
it looked like
does
one
that
of
make it
these.
any much better?
It
No,
doesn't.
I mean
It
they're
doesn't.
holding hands.
I mean, this is a little different than, because if I hold your hand, I hold your hand like this, that's cool. But if I go like,
This is a little too much.
was a little too much. And I let him go.
No, but like even this, right? I mean, we could hold hands later. All right, but like, I mean, what? I mean, okay, it's not even the fact that like he's doing this and not this. It's just the fact that he's doing this in the first place. Why is he holding his hand if that's his friend? That's the weird thing. And like I said, I love Michael, but I'm just looking at some stuff, and I'm interpreting it in a way that other people just don't want to. Because other people will look at this and say they love Michael so much, they'll be like, no, the kids love Michael. Michael should have just stick.
Wait. So are you gonna listen to "Baby Be Mine"?
No. I mean, I'll listen to it for
"The Girl Is Mine." Like really, Michael, is the girl yours, Michael?
I mean,
beat it. That's it.
Who's the Beatles guy on
Paul McCartney?
Paul McCartney, right? I mean, they fought back and forth. They're like, "The girl is mine." I think Paul won. Michael wasn't gonna put up a fight. He's gonna be like, okay, but is there a boy though?
Right. You know, where's the son at?
I mean, like, yo, really, like.
But the song is called.
Do I want to give it?
Do you remember? He taught Wade.
Shut up.
Did he teach Wade or was it James how to jerk off? Like he taught James.
It was Jimmy.
He taught Jimmy how to jerk off. He got a song called "Beat It," bro. Like, come on.
He was clapping.
Pretty Young Thing now has a whole new meaning, bro. That was my track too. Bro, I can't.
Bro, so Beat It was my favorite song. Pretty Young Thing was my favorite song. Obviously Billie Jean, but I mean, do we even believe Billie Jean now?
No, that was a song about his brothers. Yeah, Billie Jean's not my. Oh wait, yeah, he was telling a story about through his brothers.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, Billie Jean's not
I thought it was a girl that was like trying to like get him for money and shit.
To his brothers, yeah. Yeah. That was like, you could tell that was a song. But this is the question now that we'll eventually probably get to. But like, are you listening to Michael the same? Are you listening to R. Kelly the same? Are you listening to like what I mean?
Can we watch that too? Can we watch the R. Kelly shit?